studying Psalm 119, verses 57 through 64. Let's read that together now. The Lord is my portion. I promise to keep your words. I entreat your favor with all of my heart. Be gracious to me according to your promises. When I think on my ways, I turn my feet to your testimonies. I hasten and do not delay to keep your commandments. Though the cords of the wicked ensnare me, I do not forget your law. At midnight, I rise to praise you because of your righteous rules. I'm a companion to all who fear you, to those who keep your precepts. The earth, O Lord, is full of your steadfast love. Teach me your statutes. So right off at the beginning, I see the answer for me to our first question, which is, how do we see more about God and his character through these verses? So in verse 57, I see that the Lord is my portion. Man, that is so rich, because in a world that's constantly looking to be filled and full, to fill up the holes in our lives, to fill up our calendars, to fill up our bank accounts, it is so good to know that the Lord is my portion. Now, this word portion is really to show us that he is enough. He is the complete and the fullness of everything that we could want, everything that we need, and everything that we could hope for. Sometimes we just don't realize it, right? We get so distracted by this world and everything that it tells us we need, everything that it tells us will solve our next problem, will be the next quick fix to our health or to our relationships or to our weight issues. And so the world is trying to tell us what we need. God is reminding us that in his character, in his goodness, in his love for us, that alone is enough. His word, his promises, his gift of salvation through Jesus Christ is enough. It is more than enough. It is the completeness. It is the fullness. It is everything that our heart and our souls long for. It is only what will satisfy our souls from the inside out. And so our second question is really entwined to the first one, which is, how does this show us more about Jesus and the gospel? Man, I'm thinking of our manna mornings, of how each day in the Old Testament, in the book of Exodus, the Israelites would have to unzip their tents and they would have to go out and they would have to gather this provision of God, this bread that would come down to supply their needs. It was one person's portion every single morning. And then Christ in John 6, verses 30 through 35, this is what he says. It says, so they ask him, and these are the followers, those who've seen him feed the 5,000. He was miraculous. Christ was doing miracles, and he had just fed 5,000 people from just some little fish and some loaves. And so these followers and his disciples are asking, they said, well, then what sign do you do, Jesus, that we may see and believe in you? That what work are you going to perform? Our fathers ate the manna in the wilderness, as it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat. And Jesus said to them, truly I say to you, it was not Moses who gave you the bread from heaven, but my Father who gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is he who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. They said to him, sir, give us this bread always. Jesus said to them, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me shall not hunger, and whoever believes in me shall never thirst. Jesus is the fulfillment of that portion. He is our manna. He is what has come down from heaven, perfection, the Son of God, coming to earth in human form, living a perfect life, being the perfect sacrifice, being raised from the dead to defeat death, to defeat sin, to put away shame and wrath from us. And he lives in fullness in us through the Spirit. And that is our portion. Jesus is the bread of life. He is what God has given us to complete the promises of all of the Old Testament, that he would send a portion that was perfect, something in our lives that would complete us, that would give us fullness of God in us, that we didn't have to worry about constantly sacrificing animals, but that there is one perfect sacrifice, one perfect portion for our lives. Blood that was shed, life that was given so that we could have complete wholeness in Christ through salvation, through believing in him. He is the fullness of that in our lives. Jesus gives us the fullness of God in our lives every day. And so how does that live out through the Spirit? How does the Spirit use this fullness to walk out in our everyday lives? And for me, what that was saying is, man, it is so easy to try to find our fullness in other people, in relationships, in jobs, in some kind of endeavor that we take on to find success, fame, fortune, money. There are so many things that we run to, that the world beckons us to, that will be that next quick fix, that will just get us through the day, that will be the perfect fullness. And what happens is every day that we seek after that, we are desperately and utterly disappointed. We walk around feeling overwhelmed, but underfed. We feel absolutely dry and desolate and discouraged because we've tried so many different things and none of them seem to work. But see, these passages tell us that the Lord is our portion. His promises are what give us life. It tells us at the very end in verse 64 that the earth, O Lord, is full of your steadfast love. There is a fullness that is only found in Christ alone, in the steadfast love. We talked about it a few days ago, this steady, fastened love to us that never, ever leaves us through Jesus Christ. That is the only thing that satisfies the longings of our hearts. We were meant to be full. Jesus said, I came to give you life and life to the fullness, to the abundance. We were made for abundance. We were made for fullness. There is a portion for us. Just many times we're taking our cup or our plate and we're trying to get this thirst quenched from empty wells, from empty sources. We're taking our plate to so many different tables and none of them are giving us the portion that truly satisfies us and completes us. So I pray today that you and I will seek only our fullness in God, that this entire earth shows us his lovingness and his kindness and his steadfastness to us. His promises are fulfilled in Jesus, that we can be full, we can be well fed, and we can be full, have the fullness of Christ in us. So I pray today that you will see that there is a portion for you, that you're invited to the table, that Jesus is the bread of life, that you will never have to hunger again, that you can be full in Christ. I'll see you tomorrow.